Hey, this is Brett with NEO News Today, joined by Joe Stewart from Splyse. You guys know him probably as the developer behind Hash Puppies. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sure. So I think a lot of people have been waiting to see when they can actually start doing things with these RHT tokens. And I've heard that you're actually nearing the end of the redemption development. So how's that all going?
It's going pretty well. We are in the final stages of the testnet testing. We have our Puppy Explorer up. People can actually go and look at the puppies that have been deployed to the testnet contract. They can actually view them in 3D with all of their traits. So the whole system has been established. It's almost ready to go. We've got the redemption demo, just a few animation issues to work out, deploy our mainnet contract, and I think we'll be good.
Sure. So you mentioned the Puppy Explorer is already on. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what went into that?
So we had to basically first come up with this system that we've been working on, for the past year to generate all of these quadrillions of puppy variants, that can be tied to a non-fungible token. So we got that working, and then basically we had to go through and pre-generate 60,000 of them, because there's 60,000 RHT. We want to make sure that everybody that has an RHT is able to redeem one. So then it's taking those 60,000 assets and uploading them to the cloud, and then making an explorer that can quickly scroll through the entire list, and you can just see what all of the possible variants are, and pick your favorite, then click on the viewer and bring it up in WebGL and see the full thing rotating and having expressions, smiling and whatnot.
Cool. Sounds great. So you can actually go ahead and check out which dogs are going to be available right from the start, and then hopefully you get the one that you like the most, right? Right,
hopefully. So the redemption is actually going to be a randomized process, so you're not going to get to choose, so you're just going to have to hit the button and let the mini game run. And it's actually kind of interesting. We have a claw machine that's actually animated in 3D, pull your puppy out of the little ball, and you see what you got.
Awesome. So you actually recently released a Unity example for the NOS platform. So that's something you've just open sourced. You can tell us a little bit about that and how other people could potentially make use of that?
Yeah, so the big problem with developing games that are browser focused is that you have to adhere to certain rules. One of those rules is you can't use threads in WebGL, and all of the existing solutions that integrate into Unity for NEO use threads on the back end for the wallet. So we had to come up with a solution to be able to interact with the blockchain, but not interrupt the game. So we found out that NOS has a very good APIs that allows us to basically just communicate from Unity directly into the NOS JavaScript, get the information we need, authenticate transactions, and let them do basically the heavy lifting for us as far as the wallet is concerned, and let us just concentrate on the game functions.
So this is something that's actually really cool about Hash Puppies for me, is that you've actually been developing technology that you can then open up for other people to make use of. Another example is the NFT standard. So you want to talk to us a little bit about the standard and what that all entails?
Yeah, so in order for the ecosystem to grow, we need to agree on a set of standards for interfacing with a non-fungible token contract. And so we've taken some ideas from Ethereum standard, but we've also introduced our own, because there's things that don't translate well into NEO. So we've basically packaged those all up into our NFT proposal, submitted that to NEO. They had a few others from a few other sources. Ultimately, they went with our standard, so we think it's pretty complete at this point, so people should try and use it and test it. It hasn't reached 100% final approval. We do need more people to test it and make sure that it works for what they want to do with it. And so we don't see ourselves as in competition with other NEO games. We want to improve the ecosystem overall, because everybody benefits the more people that come to NEO, right? So that's the reason for open sourcing our NFT template. That's the reason for open sourcing the NOS Unity connector. All the projects that we do that we can open source, we do because we want to grow this gaming ecosystem and the ecosystem in general in NEO.
So this NFT standard, it's not actually just specific for games. You could use it in tons of different ways, right?
Yeah, you can tokenize any kind of asset. It basically just comes down to the difference between having a NEP5 token, which is fungible, and you're just tracking amounts. With the NFT contract, you want to track a unique ID of something that has some certain properties, right? So that's very abstract and can be used for any kind of tokenization.
Is there any limit to the number of properties that one of these tokens can have?
There's really not, because there's only one field in the standard that we made that contains the properties, and because on NEO you can use serialization, you can put anything you want in that. So, our token just has a compressed binary string that represents the DNA of a puppy, right? But you could take, say, an entire JSON object, and you could put that into the properties and use that as the unique tokenized item.
So it's pretty versatile then?
Yes.
Cool. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about the actual gameplay of Hash Puppies? What will people be able to expect to do with their puppies once everything's ready to go?
Well, when we actually have the game release, the first versions are probably going to have a limitation on the number of areas that are available. We're basically trying to release in stages so that a bit more comes out at a time, and you're able to do a bit more with it. Because we've already built the puppies, we already have the system. We don't want to just sit on it, while we keep developing for another 6-8 months, and everybody's waiting, right? So in the beginning, you'll probably be able to have limited interaction with them. You'll be able to see them, take them out for a walk. You'll be able to do some sort of limited kind of training to improve their stats. And then we want to have that breeding functionality available as soon as possible, also, so that you can take your puppies that you have and put them together and see what else the combinations might hold.
Sure. So, and it's not just derivative of the two puppies. Is there kind of a random mutation element there?
So there's a whole genetic structure to it. Every puppy has basically two sets of parent genes, and the combination of recessive and dominant traits determines what the puppy's going to look like, and then they carry those over to their children. And then there will be a mutation element to it, so there will be some randomization in that final DNA string.
Cool. So really the possibilities will be pretty endless with it then?
Pretty endless. Like I said, quadrillions of possible puppies. There won't be any two in the contract that are the same.
Cool. So is there anything else you want to mention to the NEO community about what's going on with Hash Puppies, or else other things you're doing with Splyse?
Basically, we're working as hard as we can. Hopefully people can, wait a little longer. I know some people have been, waiting on it quite a while, waiting for something to happen. We are still working on it. Despite the market downturn, it's kind of been hard on, us as well as a lot of other projects. But, we are definitely still continuing development, and we're going to put this game out.
Cool. Well, I guess that's what happens. Originally everyone thought it was just going to be kind of crypto kitties for NEO, and now it's ended up, creating new tools for the ecosystem. So it's really done a whole lot of good. So I think people will be patient for that.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And
awesome. Yeah.
If you guys want to check out any more of our content, you can check out neonewsday.com or our Twitter and YouTube pages. Thanks again, Joe.
Thanks, Edge.